What's going on, everyone? Chris Mack coming at you today with the NECA Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mirage Return to New York 4-pack. At the time of this recording, if you guys want to pick this up, unfortunately the conventional routes is sold out, so you're going to have better luck on the third-party market. However, on Entertainment Earth, they do have all the Turtles individual, which is unfortunate, but there is still that route. And I love the artwork that was commissioned for this. This is apparently Kevin Eastman, and it just looks like the old school Ninja Turtle comics. And what I love about this piece is when you unsnap it, you actually get to see all the turtles set up. Beautiful little piece there. The old school turtle logo on the top. And I don't have a lot of space here, but on the side you get turtles there. And you get two more of the turtles there. And then here on the back, you get all the cool different ways that you can do product placements with your Ninja Turtles just to recreate that old school Ninja Turtle feeling. Then on the bottom, of course, just like with all the NECA pieces, which I appreciate, they tell you who worked on this, which I really wish other action figure companies did the same thing. Now with that said, is this 4-pack worth your time? Let's get our heroes in a half shell out of the packaging and get a closer look at them. From the secluded exile of a Northampton farm, with size gripped tight, a single shadow slips back into the murk of New York's underbelly. This is the Return to New York, the brutal 1989 TMNT Mirage arc that ran through issues 19 through 21. The pivotal event that brought the Turtles from hiding back into the direct confrontation with the Foot Clan and a resurrected Shredder. Spoiler warning, key plot points ahead. Pause now, hunt these issues down, and check out the playlist, and then strap in. In the fallout from the 1987 TMNT issue 10 comic, a year after the Foot torched April's pad, Raph's impatience snaps. He spits venom at Leo's caution. You're scared and can no longer lead us. Fists fly between brothers. Raph storms out, leaving his brother broken and defeated. Reluctantly, the other turtles pursue him, knowing they can't let harm come to their brother. Enter Zog the Triceraton, who assists the reunited turtles to infiltrate the Foot's domain, but gets viscerally eviscerated in a grotesque display of brutality by 3 horrific, deformed Shredder variants. Hopelessly outnumbered and outgunned, the Turtles make a last stand against the Foot and these abominations. Echoing the first confrontation between leaders, Leo once again faces a resurrected Oroku Saki, whose corpse was fed to planarian worms that devoured the decayed flesh, congealing into a colony, mimicking memories and the form of the dead host, creating the ultimate parasite. The 3 unearthly deformities were failed attempts. The arc crescendos in an epic duel. The resulting funeral pyre burns bittersweet, making a blood-soaked but poignant moment for our heroes. Behind the scenes, Eastman and Laird were drowning in Mirage business hell, leaving little time to craft new stories. This resulted in outsourcing to other writers and the Turtles' prolonged Northampton seclusion. Peter Laird drew inspiration for Shredder's Worm Rebirth from James McConnell's wild planarian memory transfer article, dodging the use of a cheap mutagen trope. The significance of this saga has impacted the mythos of various other TMNT media for the next mutation of fans. Want to learn more about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles origins? We did a deep dive over on the After Dark channel. I'll leave a link in the description and a card right here so you can check it out after this video. Now, with this foundation established, let's take a closer look at NECA's 4-pack tribute and see if it holds up to this rich history. And right out of the packaging, my friends, these turtles are old school Mirage comic accurate. They have all the battle scars, the gritty ink look to them, and then of course the matching red masks. Now, I grew up with the cartoon turtles, so I can understand why they did the different colors, which has now become synonymous with the turtles. But I will say, from an old school point of view, just the red, I don't know, it just adds this gritty Frank Miller theme that both Laird and Eastman were going for. And each one looks absolutely beautiful. I love how Leo kind of has that serious gaze about him, and of course, the strap. And I've always loved when his katanas are this way, as were, most of the cartoons and the movies, they had them split. I don't know, just having them on the side like this just looks so, I don't know, there's this toughness about it that I just really enjoy. I love all the ink blotches on the shells. Now, I have said, like with the Marvel Legends, when they do the animated versions, I don't know, there's something off about those. But this, with the old school brown pads, it just adds a different layer. And maybe that's just because that's how this iteration of the Turtles were introduced and why I absolutely love it. Now, one thing I do kind of wish, because this is Raph and then this one's Mikey, I kind of wish they would have given Raph the more aggravated look, and this one would have been more Michelangelo in my opinion. But nonetheless, because they essentially look the same, you can make the Turtles whichever one you want. The only ones that you're going to kind of have a different time with, look at those shells. Love the way those shells look. The only ones that are going to look different, of course, is Leonardo and Donatello, and that's because Leo has the weapon storage for his katanas there, and then Donnie all look the same except he has his bow staff here. One thing that I'm going to preference here, or preface, sure. When I first put this in, this would not do this. I had to put this in front of my space heater for a couple of minutes, let that loosen up, and then I just ever so slightly, while this was loose, worked the bow staff in until it actually fit on his back. So that's how you can differentiate these two turtles. Now, as where we went over the Walmart version, there is really zero to no weapon storage. I'm glad that at least with these two, in the comics, they usually kind of stuff them in the front or in the back. I'm glad that there is enough of a gap that you can either fit them here. There's enough on Raph to put his size in the front, so that's cool. And then Michelangelo, just as I was talking about that gap, you can tuck his nunchucks there. But the belt, unfortunately, is very taut, so you can't work them down. I wish they would have given some sort of bump like they did with Donatello's bow staff. That just would have been a nice little extra layer. But still being able to hold their weapons, that's awesome. As for the other accessories that these turtles come with, other than just looking absolutely beautiful, it comes with the hooded mask that Raph wears in the first issue of Return to New York, where he's kind of going undercover. And I wish this was soft cloth instead of hard. Not really, it's kind of more of a soft plastic, but it would have been neat if they would have made that a cloth bendable type situation. But still, having it is a nice addition, especially since this is an homage to the Return to New York. It also comes with an extra arm. I'm still a little shocked as to why, because I mean, and you can use it on any turtle. I don't know. I don't really see a whole lot of different articulation, but it's an added feature. Cool. And then each turtle comes with an extra doodad for their what's this thing called? For their bandanas, and they're all essentially the same. I wish that they would have maybe given different versions, so like all of them kind of flare to the side. These kind of have more of an action look to it, and they all have that nice red to it. And then they come with a plethora of hands. And what I like is, since these turtles don't have really any different, paint apps, you can use them how you wish. So you have kind of the more open karate chop hand, kind of a cool gripping hand, which you can put Raph's size in that. your punching hands, and then kind of more of a open resting hands. So that's cool that they come with all those accessories. And then they come with these neat shurikens, which I believe it's Michelangelo uses them against the foot. And it would have been cool if they would have made these gunmetal gray, but they kind of have a blueness about them. But still a nice addition. But again, my gripe is always with weapon storage. There's really nowhere to put them. Maybe like that, but other than maybe having, like with the old Turtles, some of them, when there was a peg like this, there would usually be some peg somewhere that you could peg them on. So that just would have been nice, but still to have them, and they fit in their hands relatively well. And then of course they come with their signature weapons, which kind of have a little bit of cartoonishness about them. I would have preferred, again, as I just said, gunmetal gray. This has more of a light blue about it. Same with Leonardo's katanas. I'm sure they probably use these from other cartoon versions, but still, since this is supposed to be like, you know, the ultimate tribute, that just would have been nice if these were actual, like, gleam silver. But still, I'll take what I can get. So as for the paint apps, as you can see, and the accessories, guys, you're going to have so much fun just doing all sorts of different poses and whatnot with the Turtles. And I'm kind of wish that these would have had a chain, but still just that brown. It works for Michelangelo because these look more like an old school traditional type ninja nunchucks. So yeah, you get a plethora of accessories and all sorts of different ways that you can do some old school Mirage action figure photography with these pieces. Now lastly, I want to preface, if you're going to put the disguise on Raph, you need to take his bandana off. And just a heads up, just like I say with all action figures, at least NECA and Marvel Legends and whatnot, warm it up first, because if you just try to pull it out, it's going to snap and then you're going to have a broken accessory. So I put this in front of my space heater for about 2 minutes, and then with my fingernails I just worked the bandana out, and then this just flops in relatively. Well, I say relatively, then I get in front of the camera with you guys, and it's like a fight. But it should, in theory, when you have a little more time, come off like a nice hug. I'm not going to sit here and fight it, but you get the idea. And it just looks good. It's very comic accurate. So I just wanted to point that out. Now, as for the accessories, I've already done the accessories. I've not had enough coffee today. Articulation, all the Turtles are the same, so we're just going to use Mikey for this example. The head does nice 360, side to side. Unfortunately with these, because of the shell, there's no real ab crunch. You just have to use the legs to make them go down and up, unfortunately. But at least there is, behind the belt here, there's a waist swivel, so as long as you're careful, you can swivel it around. But of course, the shell, again, gets in the way, so there's at least that option. Arms go out that much. Elbows about that much, about 90 degrees. All the hands, after you warm them up, do have the regular articulation. There, arm spins all around. The shell, you kind of have to work around, but you can do it. Legs out that far. I appreciate the leg swivel. About a 90-degree bend there. Foot pivot. And then, just like with the Legends, there's the butt flap. So you can't really go all the way, and that is a tail. So if you guys watched the Toys Who Made Us, they talked about why they left the tail off of the Playmates Turtles. Go watch it. It was an interesting choice. But nonetheless, even though there's the shell and the front part of the turtle plating here, you still get a decent range of motion. So again, you guys are going to have a good time getting some relatively good poses out of your Turtles once you warm them up and they're ready to take on the foot. Now here's our 4-pack. Next to a splatter of some of my old Ninja Turtles that I grew up with, and thankfully, mercifully, with these pop-ups. They always had to be right. But yes, they still work. And that's thankfully after being in storage for so many years. But look at how far we've come, guys. I mean, we grew up with the cartoon. We recognize, Rocksteady, all the different iterations, the Turtles in Disguise, Slash, who, from what I understand, and let me know down in the comments if I'm wrong, but he was supposed to become another Turtle, and then they eventually made him Slash. I can't remember off the top of my head. But I mean, we had pop-ups, we had the movies, and then, of course, Krang and Shredder. And the guy that created Shredder, I don't remember why he said he hunched him down, but I think it was something to make it fit in the blister pack. But yeah, it was always a weird decision. And then make him shirtless like that is just a weird way. But think about it, man. All these toys, they're just locked up in our crazy rose-tinted memories. And then being able to, now that we're all old farts, getting these great releases based on the comic books and pairing them up with what we've grown up with. And that, to me, is just like the height of awesomeness, being able to blend both of them and to celebrate them. So I pose it to you. Growing up, what was your favorite release of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? Mine were definitely the movies and, of course, the original soft-headed squish releases. I love the disguise ones, and I love that you can put the little mask, which I have no idea where it's at. I have it, but I'm not going to dig it through my accessories. But anyway, I digress. What do you guys plan to do with both your old school Ninja Turtles and your new school Turtles? Are you going to do action figure photography? Are you going to put them all on shelves? Let us know and take some pictures and share them with us over on the socials. We'd love to check them out. It has taken me a while to get to this set, but now that I've cracked it open, I'm absolutely in love with it. This captures everything that Peter Laird and Kevin Eastman originally set out to do with the Turtles, kind of parodying the violent comics and the kung fu movies of the 80s. And you can just see that Frank Miller artwork in these figures, and it works. So if you are a huge fan of the old school Mirage Studio Ninja Turtles, this is definitely up your alley. So if you've enjoyed what you've seen, please first and foremost support your local comic shop or wherever they get your action figures and comics and grab this set, or check out the secondary market that we talked about at the beginning of the review. Speaking of, if you did enjoy this review, really would appreciate it if you take a moment to like, share, and subscribe. Helps the channel more than you could possibly know. And if you wouldn't mind hitting that fancy little turtle bell next to subscribe, that way as I get to upload content, you guys get notified. Come to the channel, and I love talking with you all and hearing your thoughts and feedback down in the comments or the socials, which I'll make sure of the links down in the description. So with all that said, photo slideshow coming up next. Hope you all continue to have an absolutely amazing day reading, and happy hunting, everyone. Hey y'all, I got some action figures up for sale to make room for future reviews on the channel. If you're interested, hit me up on the socials or shoot me an email. Check out the Google link in the description for pricing and availability. If something grabs you, we can work out a price. And just a heads up, shipping will be additional based on your location. Thanks for supporting the hunt.